right, Joe. Well, I gotta apologize. I gotta be honest with y'all. I know we had discussed last week what it was that we were gonna be looking at and discussing this week, and life, life be life in this week, and that's what happened. So I really did not have time to get into any of the documents or research. So you're gonna get a lot of opinions from me today without the facts, but that's okay. I think that happens now and then.
Yeah,
It's
well,
gonna be pretty similar for me as well.
which is okay. Um, and what was it that we were looking up at?
So we were gonna discuss the Epstein files, and basically they had released the documents, but they had done a very half-butt job on redacting the info and blocking it out. So that basically everything they were trying to hide and keep from us, it actually is super easy to view.
No, it's the whole thing with the Epstein files is it's like a whole thing that goes back like quite a few months, right? Because I want to say it was
Years,
around
actually.
when Trump got a not exactly. It was around when Trump got elected is when this whole the Epstein files is we've been wondering about that for forever. But the whole thing with Trump is like when he got elected, he said he would release the files. And that shit got prolonged so far out that when we got them, they were these classified PDFs, right? Black boxes over them. They were so negligent with classifying this sensitive information, trying to protect, um, like victims and stuff, that you could just highlight these texts, right? And get all that information. Names, victim names. Like it just seems like, trying to protect the victims was just words to be put on a screen to make them look good. It it just doesn't I can't it's hard to explain this.
So do we know that that happened for sure? Because I don't, I haven't seen anything or
Oh,
heard anything, but
the there was news on this. There was there you could just scroll over YouTube. Plenty of people have made their own documentaries on on the files themselves. I know there's plenty. There's well, I don't want to say there's plenty because I haven't seen them myself, but I know there are some names in there, like even victim names that are now out to the public and not redacted. With those are the victims, the people that were
well, there are
hurt.
some
I
victim
guess
there are some victim names that are already out there because they were involved in lawsuits that go
right.
back all the way to
But we're talking
1996.
about victims that possibly didn't want to be
Named,
reconnected to this or
get it?
renamed. It's like they said that they were redacting the information for this reason, and yet
Yeah.
you can easily get access to this information. And then there are some areas where there are what seem to be like names redacted, but it's not victims. Like, what
Who
was
are
the
we
real
trying
point of
to?
redacting shit? Like, they're I'm not trying to say it, but trying to hide something, in my opinion.
Yeah, I for sure. I mean, the way I look at it, and I've had my own experience with the law system in our country, and it's not the greatest, right? Because a lot of things really do just come down to what can you prove, right? So if their names are on a list, does that necessarily imply guilt, right?
No,
Like
no, it
in a
doesn't.
court of law, right? So I on part of me thinks like, okay, well, even if there are names on there, maybe we can't build a case against these people just simply for being on this list. Like we have to do a deeper dive. But the whole thing is, if they have this list, even if it's not prosecutable, right? You don't have a case that will stand up in court. Why not release the whole thing to the American public, right? So, like, even though we can't charge you for anything per se, based solely off this list, we need more information. But knowing, okay, you were there this many times, you did this, you did this, you did that, would that not influence voting? And who you chose to continue to lead your party or lead your town or your state, right? So it is definitely interesting. And honestly, it's a joke. I think at this point, is it's just become the biggest joke that we have. It's because we know, okay, there was all kinds of stuff that went on that was wrong. We have info, we have documents on it. Who cares, right? like we admitted that we have it, but
Nothing's
we're
being
not going
done.
to do anything. We're not going
No
to do
one's
anything about it. That's
being held
crazy.
accountable, you know? And it's like we know certain people have done certain things, and yet those people, they're coming up with excuses and they're getting away scot free. And it's like, what happened to prosecuting the people that deserve it? I haven't seen anything.
Well, that's part of the problem is um, one, just because, like Derek had said, just because your name was associated with Epstein in some way, shape, or form doesn't mean that they were
Well, that
part of any
I
crime, okay, or they
I
were
forget
a
who it
a
was.
part of any of the things that Epstein was convicted of.
Well,
And
I forget who it
and
was,
may not have been convicted because he really he didn't get his day in court.
but it was a
He got
um
offed.
I believe female a female politician who was confirmed to be attached to like the whole Epstein incidents or whatever. And yet she got off with like a slap on the wrist basically. I mean, even another good example, P Diddy. A slap on the wrist basically for everything that he did related to um what was it? Child trafficking?
Yeah. The
Child
exploitation.
trafficking, and like he got what was it, 4 years? Was it 4 years in prison, that's it?
Mm-hmm.
And yet you hear of people that went to prison for like 10, 15 years for weed, and yet that shit's legal now.
Actually, you there's
This shit makes
people that do the
no
same thing
fucking
that
sense.
the same things that Diddy was charged for. They get 10, 15 years, and then they get their uh, basically they get killed in prison because they're with the regular prison population.
Right,
Yeah.
right, but because he's got all this money, he's got influence with, probably political people and other things, he's got connections, he can slide under the table. Yeah, he's just said basically, it's just giving the big old
He
to
slides under the
everybody
table
else.
because all that baby oil.
Yeah.
He's hard to get a hold of.
I forgot how many
Uh,
what was it, like 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
uh,
Ooh.
he is having it trucked in by the gallon.
I mean, I like when it comes to like the stuff with like underage and minors and stuff like that, obviously totally against that. Like I don't think that's right. But the other parts about Diddy, I was like, okay, he's an adult. He had a bunch of other adults that wanted to do some weird stuff.
Yeah, do
Oh,
it. Put on your
go
Batman suit and go.
yeah, yeah,
You know what
go
the hell?
for it. All the freedom to you, but there was
Right.
definitely some shocking things that came out that he should have been held accountable for. That
Right.
James is right. He really
Oh yeah.
wasn't.
It
It
was
just makes
basically a slap on the wrist.
yeah.
And truthfully, if you followed any of the stuff that Epstein went through, um, all those that's all that happened to him. He got a slap on the wrist there, slap on the wrist here, slap on. I mean, think about all the amount of time it took to actually get him and the public aware of what was going on. His first incident in court was 1996. It wasn't until 2019 until when that's basically when he offed himself. I mean, allegedly offed. He allegedly did suicide. Um,
Yeah.
uh, he was connected to too many powerful people. I mean, it's
oh
obvious
come
it wasn't a
on!
suicide.
Just because the cameras didn't catch anything, they were accidentally turned off. Oops. You know.
I hate when I accidentally
I know.
go into a system that's never been turned off and just
All of a sudden they just
disconnect.
don't work.
Just one section is not like
Oops.
you know
Yeah,
okay.
it was an oops. It was an oops.
I
They
spilled
messed up.
some coffee on the keyboard and that's what happened.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
crazy.
But yeah,
But
I mean that he just kept on getting slapped on the wrist, slapped on the wrist, slapped on the wrist.
I
You
mean,
know,
one of the things I would love to see America do, and this again make me sound crazy, and I admit that freely ahead of time, but any like basically like any offense that has a fee or a price like associated with it. So let's say like illegal parking, right? Parking in an area you're not supposed to and getting a ticket. For me and you, $150 to $200 might be a lot, right? Like that might take some
Yeah.
money out of other things I could do. But for
it could
someone
hurt.
who's raking it in, that's not actually like that's
Then
not
they have
actually a
notes.
thing that they worry about, right?
Yep.
So they will intentionally park in those areas and take the ticket because for them their time's more valuable to be able to get in and out of where they're trying to go and do what they need to, that the $200 doesn't hurt. And I would love to see all of it, like especially with like driving, let's just say driving for the moment, be
Well,
reflected back to what you earn, right? So like if you're doing 50 and a 30 and you're in this tax bracket, okay, you're gonna pay this amount. But if you're making quad like multi millions of dollars, what what's a $75 speeding ticket gonna do to you? You're not gonna stop speeding, right? But imagine if it's
no,
based off percentage and you're like, this behavior is dangerous and this needs to stop and we're going to hit you where it hurts.
actually, I think I kind of second that idea. Instead of it just being a set amount, it kind of goes off a percent based on your wealth or income.
Yeah.
That'd be all well and good, but how is that going to work? And how does that, especially, how does that work with, um, you know, what we're talking about, which is,
Well, I
like
mean, look
Epstein
at
and stuff like that. I mean, he's
well,
he's getting off. These people are getting off because of connections, who they know. Okay, a parking ticket to them, I doubt they even ever have to pay.
uh,
Why would they
uh,
have to pay? If they're that well connected, it gets thrown out. I mean, how many times have you ever seen a uh, a celebrity or anything like that, and we're not talking about PD. You go back years. How many these people would get caught with drugs, or they did something stupid. They go to the court, and the court be just like, don't do that again. Now, did it cost them money? Sure, it cost them. It cost them because they had to get Cochran. But when they, they probably paid $10,000 to a lawyer, but they still only got a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, yeah, and we definitely have an accountability issue, and it's it's sad to see, like, because you can imagine if any one of us went to court and we got in trouble for something, we went to court, we would be made to hold ourselves accountable. And
Mhm.
there's an entire population that isn't. And it's crazy to think about where it's like, okay, if I did what P. Diddy did, and we do not have the followers that P. Diddy has, right? We don't have our name out there like that yet. They're going to throw the book at me. I'm going to have to pay, and if I don't pay, then I'm going to jail, and they're going to give me a lengthy sentence, and no one would bat an eye, right? That's justice for most of
Right.
us. For most of us.
Yeah. So bring this to bring this back around. Um, we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein. We're talking about how the files were released, and not even all of them. It wasn't even more than a couple of a percent,
Oh,
I think. I mean,
it's only like part of the files or of the
right.
release, and they're planning to release more like halfway into this year or something. It's like
Well, they're
what
said to be
what's
over
there to
2 million
be?
pages, and
Yeah,
they've only released about 12,000 of them. So that's only like a what 2%,
yeah.
not even that. So
I,
even if
I I
they
don't
do
even.
release more, how many are they releasing? They're not releasing everything. Matter of fact, if they did, there'd be not enough time. I mean, that'd probably be their best bet. Go ahead, release them all. What's going to happen? No one can cover all this in such a short period of time. I mean, you could try to use AI to go through it and pick out names, but what is AI going to, that's about the only thing you could do in order to get through them. But, I mean, the thing is, what is it going to
I'll be
truly show
back in
us?
a second. I gotta pick up something.
So, what is it truly going to show us, right?
Right.
Are we going to have, um, we're going to have, you know, pages upon pages upon pages of things that are going to have redactions if they do it properly, because they're not going to screw up twice. They're not going to screw up again. If they screwed up the first time, they're not screwing up again. And God only knows that they didn't release. We know they didn't release everything. 12,000 pages out of a 2 million page documents worth of documents. And and they obviously had pictures because we saw pictures, and we saw pictures of. But I mean, there's people out there that don't want this, that don't want it out, because it probably hurts some of their friends. And then the other part about that is doesn't hurt it doesn't hurt the current presidency, because if it could, it would have been released.
It would have been released.
It would have been
Hmm.
released years ago under Biden. So we know that for a fact. There's nothing in there that's going to be um, that's going to hurt the current presidency. So
Yep, and it makes you wonder who has control over what's being released and how much is released and how they're picking through 2 million pages to say this is what we're willing to share. This is what we're willing to give you and to show you. And then just coincidentally and everything else, Bill and Hillary, they both just got what, subpoenaed to appear in court, and both of them defied it. Both of them said, "Not doing it, not going in." They literally are breaking the law. They were subpoenaed to come in and to speak about what's going on, and they're like, "Nope, make me, make me." And that's one of the things that I really like about Trump is that when you had this Venezuelan kingpin who's been on the list for years that took over Venezuela, and he was known to not be a good person. I don't have all the information in front of me to say exactly what he was wanted for, but like he was wanted even under Biden. He was on the list, right? And then he came out and said, "Oh, Trump, what you gonna do? I'm over here in Venezuela, blah blah blah." And next thing you know, we just went in and took him, and now he's in the U.S.
Yep.
So like Hillary and Bill going, "Well, we're not gonna do that. Make us." Oh, I would love to see that. Trump, make them do it.
Yep. Absolutely. So it's the process is slow, but um, it, they're trying to hold people accountable. But it is a pain. It is an absolute pain to try to get people to be held accountable because they fight it.
It is
It
cold outside.
yes, it is 15 degrees. 15 degrees felt like 10.
Yeah, it's fuck this weather.
Oh, yeah,
I,
yeah, we don't live in a warm climate, that's for sure.
no, no, we don't. And buy hot
Completely off
water.
topic. Next week it's supposed to be -5.
Oh.
Mm-mm. I'm going to Florida for I think probably 2 weeks. I'm gonna say, screw this.
Just down south in general would be nice. Prefer the
Right?
warmer weather. Prefer the warmer weather, but you know how that shit is.
See,
Me,
right around
also
60, 70 is perfect.
I crazy one. Me, I love the cold weather because when it's hot, there's only so much you can do to cool off, and then that's it. And then you're stuck. Unless you have AC or can get to somewhere that has AC. But like when it's hot, it's miserable, at least in my opinion. When it's cold, you can blow it in your hands, you can put an extra shirt on, you can stand up, and you can move around. And like I live in a house that has no heat. My basement, I see my breath, and I work down there 8 hours a day. I still wouldn't change it. I like the cold.
I mean, I prefer the cold over heat, but
Mm.
not I'm gonna freeze my balls kind of cold.
Yeah, -5's tough.
Now give me 85-degree weather all day long. I'll take it.
Uh-uh.
I love it. Actually, I
Oh,
prefer to I'll run in that. I prefer running in that than this. And I just finished a 5K, so yeah, I'd rather run in 85-degree weather any day of the week.
may look like you, but I definitely don't act. Definitely will not hate. No, 85 too hot. Mm-mm.
So anything else with these files that anybody knows of? 'Cause I don't, excuse me. I really don't. The only thing that I know, they redact obviously stuff they're trying to hide, but trying to hide supposedly, you know, to hide the victims, to keep so they have an enemy, yeah, that word.
Anonymity.
So yeah, so but I mean, so that's the running theory, not to
I
hide
mean,
things from everybody.
it definitely goes deeper than that, but with lack of research and stuff, I don't want to start just spitballing theories. Um, Maybe next time we can probably bring this subject up again, say when they release more files, we can talk about the BS of those files.
I agree. Every time they release files or whatever they're going to do, let's try to stay up on that and do a little digging into that. I mean, because this Epstein thing, I mean, it's just weird because the things that the things that came out of it. All the was it all the conspiracy theories? You know, what
Yep.
was it? The conspiracy theory where Epstein was an intelligence agent or asset. There was his death was not a suicide. The Lolita Express was used to transport underage victims all over the world. Now that one, that, why wouldn't it have if he's being convicted of that, right? That's that.
Hmm.
And then the St. James Island, people think that was a cult headquarters, you know, or a black site. Um, yeah, where now they do think that there's some strange, freaky stuff was going there. So, and that's
Hmm.
it may not have been a cult place, but it's definitely where some of the abuse, happened. So,
Right.
um, yeah, it looks like our partner got cut out there. Hate when that
I'm not
happens.
too sure. Whatever.
But hey, you're back.
Oh, I'm back.
So yeah, there's a lot of things. These conspiracy theories that came out of this are pretty wild. You know, um, but other than that, that's don't know anything more about the files. Hopefully we can learn more about that when they start releasing some more. Um, with that said, let's move on to our mystery topic.
Mystery topic.
Um, yeah. So the mystery topic. I was kind of fighting myself on this one because there's so many topics that interest me. Um, and the one in the moment, because it's January, is going to be how I would prefer, or not prefer, but I would suggest that anybody and everybody, if you don't have a resume, to make a resume. And if you have a resume, update it. Should update your resume every single year, no matter what. You could love your job; it doesn't matter. Update your resume. Uh, put all the new things that you do, if anything has changed. Review the things that you do at your job, at your position, and evaluate your your life choice, I guess you could say, on that. Um, and I say this because a lot of people want you know a better position, or they want, say, more money. They want to get a better paying job, or they believe they deserve more in some way, shape, or form. Well, one of the things that you could do is, when you update your resume, you put all the things that you've learned throughout the year, and it's like, okay, well, wow, I did learn something. And these things are important, and someone would pay more money for them. So as you take stock of what you now can do, and um, how you can help your company, your place of employment, make more money, because when they make more money, you make more money. Um, when you do these things, it gives you some leverage. Okay, it gives you a way to say, if you want to go to your boss and ask them for a raise, you can say, you can show them your new value. This is what this is what I can do for you. These are the things I do for you that create value for the company. These are the new things that I do for you that create value for the company. And when you do that, it gives you more leverage to be able to, you know, either get more money, or at least, in the least, get some praise for what you do, and find out whether the company is really interested in giving you more compensation. Um, if they're not, and you truly believe that there is more value in what you can do, maybe it's time to move on. And you have now updated your resume, and you can, when you go to somewhere else, you can use that obviously because they always want a resume. Use that and help you get another position. Now, there's a guy that I like. Uh, he has a podcast. He does catches videos. Um, his name is Andrew Lasavita, and he is a corporate, basically like a corporate headhunter, and he'll tell you all the ins and outs of what these people are looking for, of how to sell yourself, because that's basically what you're doing. You're selling yourself to another company when you're doing this. And it tells you how to set up your resume, how to do video. He's a great guy. His content is free. He does obviously have a paid subscription if you want to do that, but that's for people normally who want to make $200,000 a year, or if you're um, I guess if you're having a hard time finding a position worth, and you're going to go for those numbers. It's normally the type of people that will probably pay for his stuff, but he's got a lot of free stuff out there, and it's really good. Um, so, if you guys have any comments about that kind of stuff, feel free to to chime in here. But I really feel that beginning of each year, this is something that everybody should do. I don't care, like I said, I don't care if you love your job or not. I personally, I love the place that I work. It's a great company to work for. They're great people. They pay well. Okay, I will say they pay well. They have a great grain share program. Uh, and I would hands down recommend anybody, if you're looking for a job, to apply there if they have an opening. So uh, someone would ask me, "Oh, where is that place at?" It's called Crew Cut Incorporated. It's in Sebring, Ohio. So, with that said, does anybody have any comments on that?
Yeah. So I definitely wasn't expecting this topic, but I couldn't agree more with you about the resume. Besides for creating it and keeping it updated yearly, I think that's something you should update as soon as you learn something new. Stay
That would
current
be good
with
too.
it. It's a living, breathing document that you want to do. Because in my line of work, um, so I work for a company called VXI Global Solutions. Well, currently I'm the head trainer for the only trainer in the US for motive care, but I also oversee LG Social, LG Rep. I help out with Cigna Healthcare. I help out with Kaiser Permanente Healthcare. I help out with Accredo. I run multiple lines of business. And I got to learn new stuff every day about each one of these lines that makes me a better leader, a better trainer, helping prepare our new agents. And the one thing I can tell you is that the company in the moment will remember what you did and what you learned and and the things that you're doing currently, but they're also overseeing multiple lines of business and so many people that by the end of the year, when it comes to doing a review and promoting yourself, if you don't keep an accurate track record of the things that you've learned, how you've helped out, what you've done, you'll forget them. They'll ask you some questions and you'll start answering, and you'll forget to bring up that you learned how to work with international clients to bring the metrics under control specifically for handle time by identifying blah, 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 and then creating this, sheet to help cut down on that. So just keeping it real accurate and true resume on everything that you do is it's so much more beneficial than you think. Like you don't want to wait till it's time to apply for a new job and then be like, okay, I need to put on paper everything I know and have done, and it's tough. You want
It is.
to have that be a something that you get familiar with and you're constantly building and upgrading because it's going to build your own worth, and you can then, like you said, Jason, you can then look and recognize, like, at the end of the year when you're talking and doing reviews, you can show them what you learned and ask for more, and if they are unwilling to give that, and you have this document showing all the things that you're capable of, it at least allows you the opportunity to look elsewhere to see if someone does value those skills and maybe
Yeah,
change your position,
absolutely.
change your life.
Absolutely. Now I know, James, you're probably a little green on this subject only because you're the youngest one, but you know, how's your resume look?
Well, I know I have a better resume than the average person my age. Mainly because I kind of got a jump start on mine when I was in high school, especially with my early career classes and such, and then as well as taking on working with you when you had your business. So like I tend to upgrade or update it. I wouldn't say every year. I'm probably not as
Current as you should
frequent
be.
on I'm not as on top of it. I do update it though. Whether it be like a year and a half to every 2 years, I'll go in and do some changes and such. Add on like the stuff that I've been learning throughout the year or throughout the years, depending on how long it's been. But yeah,
Okay, that's cool. I would just, suggest new year, new you, new resume. That's just my 2 cents. Like I said, and that might be a good thing just for everybody, all of us to look at and to do. I know that that's something that I'm working on. And then, like I said, I love the place that I work. I do. I love the people. Company's great, but I like to grow. And as long as I am, uh, as long as I am, growing, I'm going to be a happy guy. And would I want to leave this place? No, I would love to grow there. However, I'm looking to increase, increase my salary. I'm looking to increase my benefits. I'm looking for something that's, I don't know, more adventurous. Let's just say so. Something that fits me maybe a little bit more better than what I do now. Okay, well, with that being said, that was the conclusion of our mystery topic for the ending. James, don't forget, you're next. You have a mystery topic coming up. Um, with that being said, uh, next topic. Do we have a next topic, or we're just gonna we'll wing that one with a text to each other. And with that said, we can call this one complete. How's that sound?
good to me.
Anybody? Good to you?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, guys. You have a good one. We'll convene a talk after this, and hasta la vista.
All right, Joe. Thanks for checking in. Have a good day.
Hey.
Peace.